This is the Magic Our Way podcast with my mutants, Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Lee. They're cut above the rest, bub. You're the best there is at what you do. And what you do is pretty nice.
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe.
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way podcast.
They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante Sana, everyone. You are listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana, in the United States of America. We are artistic buffs talking about Disney stuff. And this is a show in which every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us. For this episode, we present our thoughts about the latest installment of the MCU, Thor, Love, and Thunder. And look, this isn't your typical polished, practiced, pixie dust and Disney podcast. No, sir. We are not in the parks every day trying to tell you how to sneak into the new top of the world of Villain's Lair Lounge.
That's right, Kev. We're here to drink, talk Disney, and bring the thunder.
That's right. So feel the power and ride the lightning.
My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
I'm Eli.
And Lee here. And hey, if you like goats that scream, we want you on the MOW team.
So enough of our let's get our Love and Thunder on. Welcome to the Hub, and for this Hub, we present a discussion about the latest installment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Thor, Love, and Thunder, which was released in the United States officially on July 8th, 2022, but as the practice has been of late, they had showings the evening before on July 7th. So in summary, I present the official synopsis direct from the Disney press kits. And I quote, Marvel Studios' Thor, Love, and Thunder finds the God of Thunder on a journey unlike anything he's ever faced, a quest for inner peace. But Thor's retirement is interrupted by a galactic killer known as Gore, the God Butcher, who seeks the extinction of the gods. To combat the threat, Thor enlists the help of King Valkyrie, Korg, and ex-girlfriend Jane Foster, who, to Thor's surprise, inexplicably wields his magical hammer, Mjolnir, as the mighty Thor. Together they embark on a harrowing cosmic adventure to uncover the mystery of the God Butcher's vengeance and stop him before it's too late. And look, y'all, as usual, we will start with a non-spoiler discussion on the movie and then transition into a spoiler-filled discussion afterwards. And I promise you, we will give you ample warning prior to that transition, so don't worry. So, y'all, let's begin with our Marvel guru on this topic, Eli Ivory of ivorycomics.com. Sir, what did you think of this latest installment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Love and Thunder?
Wow.
Set the Tony.
Oh, man. I'm about to.
Set the Tony.
Yeah, that's what I was born to do. I would say this. If you've seen the Ragnarok movie, the third movie of the Thor installment
series, yeah.
I think they tried to kind of take it on that path. It had that weirdness to it. And don't get me wrong, I would say in the first half of it, I was about the weirdness. And then they had parts where they were trying to make it serious. And then that would throw me out of the weirdness. And then they would just make it crazy again. And I'm sure we'll get into all details and specifics of it. But I would have to say that it's a weird kind of jarring ride. So I would give it like at least like a B minus.
Okay.
On it, but there's no Ragnarok.
Did you love it, like it, hate it, whatever we usually say?
I liked it.
Okay.
And there were parts where I really, really could have loved it because there were. I've tried not to be a purist anymore since we started doing this. Where, like I said, I've read that in the book.
It's hard to do, yeah.
But this is one of the few times I could actually tell you that some of the characters' origins that was right out of the book. I can tell you that. Well, I guess I don't think they're spoiling it.
No, I mean it's in their promo, so it's
yeah.
They know who's in it. Yeah,
like Gore and the God
they know
Butcher.
Gore's in there. Yeah,
Like Danny and I saw the movies. Like, have you heard of this guy? And I was like, no. I have never heard of Gore. But then when they said God Butcher, I was like, oh, yeah, that's a Jason Aaron. Like, when he took on Thor, when he took on his series of Thor, that was the villain he used. And
But was he not named Gore? Was he just called the God Butcher? Or?
Well, he probably was called Gore, but
The God Butcher, that tends to stick.
That sticks.
yeah.
Okay, so that's what's more prominent.
There's
in
a
people's
Thor,
head.
there's a Gore.
And then there was Al Gore, and that's a whole different
Yes.
murderous
Oh yeah,
so
of course.
that's-
Yeah,
that's
that's
all about
different.
environment.
That's politics.
yeah, absolutely. So I give it that, but for the most, it was kind of weird. It was kind of weird.
Okay, cool. Who next?
I'm giving it 2 screaming goats up.
Oh, look at that.
Oh God.
Those goats go.
It was a fun movie, man. I had a good time at this movie. I really like Ragnarok, so I don't think maybe I liked it as much as Ragnarok, but I still had the same vibes. I think they should just let this guy, how do you say his name?
Taika Waititi?
Taika Waititi. Just let him do all the rest of the Marvel, at least the rest of the Thor movies, because these are a lot of fun.
I was gonna say that all of them.
Yeah.
No, not Marvel, but all the Thor ones.
Okay.
Yeah, let him just do that from now on, because he's nailed it. And I just wanted him to hang out with Korg, and I just want it to be like a buddy cop movie with just him and Korg going around and getting in adventures and stuff. And
Well, he is Korg, so yeah, that's good. Yeah.
it's fun, man. I don't know. I'm not a big Marvel fan, as we already know, so I don't really care about the backstories and the, this guy did that before, and this is why he's in. It's just like, just entertain me, and I was entertained. That's for sure.
My Thor was entertained,
That's beautiful.
as his name is on the video. If you're watching the video, but if it's cool, I'll go next, and then we'll end with Danny.
Go for
We'll go do the sandwich of the comic gurus. So me, I loved it, but it was on the cusp of I wouldn't say it's like full blown dead center love. It's like if it was other things maybe happened, it would have fallen quickly into it was enjoyable, it was fun. I've resigned to the fact that I'm not going to understand how all this fits in with all the Phase 4 stuff, and that's fine. I'm totally cool with that, because that was my hang-ups with a lot of the other stuff that's been released for the Marvel Cinematic Universe that's supposed to be canon. It's like I just don't know how it all fits yet, and it's been a year, and I still don't know how all this stuff fits. So I've resigned to that fact. I was like, okay, that's cool. But if I just take it at face value, it was a lot of fun. I thought it was kind of cool. There's some things that were weird. I'm sure we'll get into the detail wise, but I did enjoy it, and I do agree with you. Yeah, they try to keep that Ragnarok vibe, and I appreciate the music that they use. That was kind of fun, but I just don't think it lived up to the Ragnarok vibe. Ragnarok seemed a little more genuine in what it was trying to do, and this one felt like it was aspiring, which is nothing wrong with that. You can always aspire, but just recognize when it doesn't necessarily reach the mark, if so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. Oddly enough, it's funny. It's my oldest daughter got bored toward the second half of it.
At the movie?
Yeah, at the movie, yeah. And my wife fell asleep at some parts. So
I can see that. I
Yep,
can see
yep.
that in certain parts. I can see that.
But me and the middle child, actually, it's funny, I'll admit this. I saw this Friday morning, and I saw it 3D. And I didn't realize I bought the 3D ticket until I showed up and they gave us glasses. I'm like, oh damn. And I was like, I didn't want to. I usually don't get the 3D because it's doesn't make sense. Which is confirmed by my middle daughter, Lily, at the end of the movie saying, what was the point of 3D? I don't get it. I was like, you know what, babe, you're right. I don't know what the point of 3D was. It didn't really add much to it.
In that case, yeah, that movie didn't really.
It
It's
didn't
like
do.
that now.
Yeah, I don't get it. I wish if I paid attention to what I was buying, I just looked at the time. I was like, oh, Friday morning. I took off for a gig that no longer exists. I can do this. Y'all don't have to see the 3D movie. So I guess that's my point. To anybody listening who hasn't seen the movie yet, I wouldn't waste the money on a 3D. Maybe you get a little bit of death, but I don't think it's drastic enough that it would ruin your experience with
There's
the movie.
nothing that really comes out at you.
That's what she was saying. She's
In
like,
the
yeah,
movie,
nothing
yeah.
came out. I think the youngest said that. She's like, yeah, nothing came out of this.
Yeah.
They're thinking of Muppets Vision 3D, which does a really damn good job.
Yeah,
the
that's
spirit
perfect.
of 3D. He's awesome. But this one, you don't have to waste a ticket. Just do the IMAX, sure. Yeah, get the big screen. Why not? Fill yourself with the Thor and the Thor ass, and it's good. So, but yeah, that's my take on Thor: Love and Thunder.
I say there's no spoilers, Kevin.
No.
Except that they wanted you to see it so bad they put that in the trailer with the digitized
Yes.
version of it.
But to say, yeah, they
'Cause, if you come to see this movie, we promise you'll see Chris Hemsworth.
plenty of
fast.
Thor ass.
I
Yes.
was good not seeing it, but yeah.
Yeah, you lie. You like that.
Oh Lord.
No, in the back of your head, he's like, yeah, I look like that.
Like, yeah, I gotta work out.
I just need the tattoos like him, and I'm just fine.
I just need to start working out like that. That's what I said.
If you don't turn around, you're fine.
Oh
Yeah, don't
the
turn
back,
around.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Kevin's right behind you. Oh, no.
the commissar.
All right, can I go?
Commissar. Yes, Danny, go ahead,
Can I
please.
go? Okay,
Anchor it.
let me kill this love fest here. This movie sucked.
All the way sucked.
Yeah, I did not like this movie. I'm not going to say at all. There were good things that I thought were entertaining and pleasant. And I'll be honest, I don't think you two really liked it that much either. I can hear it. Your wife fell asleep. Your child fell asleep. It wasn't a very good movie. It was like they were pandering to the people who loved Ragnarok so much that it became a parody of Ragnarok.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
And whereas the humor in Ragnarok was surprising and natural because so many people were participating in it. You had Loki, you had Banner, Hulk, even Scourge. He was funny in it. Grandmaster, how could I forget him? It was mixed around. The humor from this movie seemed to primarily come from the fact that Thor is just a goof. And it's lowbrow. It almost is like you can see the joke coming before the joke comes. And yeah, I just think they tried to do everything that worked for them in Ragnarok and failed miserably at it.
So like simplistic.
Very simplistic.
That is true.
I can see that.
The plot was very simplistic.
The villain, I think I can say this. The villain looked. You've seen him. He looked like Lord Voldemort in a full body diaper.
Yes.
And so watching him in fight scenes and stuff like that, it's a little awkward that you could buy this emaciated looking dude in a full body diaper beating Thor. It's the version of gore that I've seen from the comics.
Yeah, he's
looked a little bit more menacing.
Yes. He looked like a god butcher.
And basically, I'll say this one more thing about the humor, and then I'll leave the rest for it when we get into specifics. Basically, when you start the movie off with a young child dying in her father's arms, good luck getting me to make with the laughs after that, like right away. And then, okay, fine. All right, let me forget that and sell into the mood. And then somebody's diagnosed with a terminal illness. Okay, let me get on from that. And then child abduction on a mass scale. It's like, really? Did they even bother to check the theme of what they were doing with the tenor of the movie that they were going for? No, this was not well done. I'm sorry. I mean, it's trading in on a lot of the love that we had for Ragnarok, and it's not to say that not everything was. I thought Zeus was hysterical. I thought Russell Crowe stole that movie.
Oh, he was awesome. Yeah, Russell Crowe was brilliant.
I appreciate the fact that they didn't make this movie 3 hours long. I thought it was beautifully shot. There were nice elements to it. Not to say that this was a pure crap movie. Like, I hated this movie.
Right. No, I get what you're saying, though.
But there's no way in hell that you can look at this movie and tell me that this is something special. It's not. It's fluff.
And that's probably why I like it so much.
You like to be fluffed.
Granted,
I was entertained.
Granted, it's like usually I'll watch these movies twice before I do these reviews, but I only had a chance to do it once. So I'm going off of a singular thing. So usually the first time I take it, because I don't process things that deeply right off the bat. Like, I just don't. So right off the bat, it's like, I was enjoying it compared to everything else that's been coming out. I'm good. I'm okay. I'm good. But if I had a second chance, I bet you my opinion would be different. But I just didn't have the luxury for this particular time.
And there's nothing wrong with enjoying fluff. People watch Friends all the time, and they love it. It's a sense of saying, like, don't compare a cheeseburger in Love and Thunder to the steak dinner you had in Ragnarok.
I was gonna say to that point. That's where there was parts of it that I was like, it's a little weird because there would be see, like, look, the part with Thor to introduce Thor, I was like, oh man, that's funny. But there is a certain level
where they introduced Thor. Which one? The female Thor or
no, Thor.
Oh, with the Guardians.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I got you.
And
I know you.
And so, like, there's a part there where it's like, okay, when I'm watching this movie, I'm like, okay, I have to suspend my belief, which I have no problem with. But then, to Danny's point, and part of what I'm saying where it gets weird is that then it forces you to ground yourself into something realistic while doing something really absurd, you know? And so that makes it really tough because it forces you as the viewer to keep getting, you know, believe this, but you could just accept all this other stuff. So, I mean, yeah, there were parts of that where that's where my weirdness kicked in.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a lot of like, who is this movie for? Because it's PG-13, so I mean, really, it's supposed to be a little edgy, but it's very kid-centric. But at the same time, you're seeing a man's booty on screen.
Yeah.
They're using the word.
That's a butt joke, right?
Yeah, well.
Cheap butt joke.
Yeah, I mean, look, we saw the Hulk's butt on the last one.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, how do we top it? Well, Thor's butt.
There you go.
Who's better?
Yeah.
Who wants to see that? There you
I don't
go.
know. I don't know.
I mean-
Maybe Hulk's. All right.
It just seemed like this was they were trying to be edgy and humorous, but at the same time, kids figured largely into this movie. And at the end, I mean, my God, Thor developed a power that I didn't even know that existed in his repertoire. Like, really?
A couple of powers.
Yeah. Like, I can buy the fact that the hammer has this new ability now.
Mm.
And, you know, I guess we won't go into it because it's non-spoiler. I can buy that, and I thought that was kind of a cool little way of using it. But the fact that Thor's had this power all along to do what he did at the end, and he's never used it, really? Infinity War in Wakanda? It wasn't the right time to use that power? Come on, man.
Well, you need to accumulate some skill points so he could buy that skill set in the settings menu.
Maybe he didn't have the. I got right. That's right, Nas. But he didn't have the object from Russell Crowe, maybe to do all.
Oh,
of
the
that.
bolt.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, the whole interaction with the bolt was kind of weird.
It was.
I didn't quite understand it. It's like they jumped to it, and I didn't like. I just like, all right, fine, he can do that.
All right, well, let's just get into the thing.
You want to get into spoilers?
Well, I mean, we can still talk in generalities if you want to. I don't mind doing that. Or at least kind of beat around the bush a little bit in sense of it. But I mean,
let's beat the bush.
Beat that bush, Kev.
All right.
Let's give the non-spoiler people a little quality time.
All right. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Bush,
A little
bush.
cuddle.
Okay, we owe them a little bit more non-spoiler.
Yeah.
If you're
right,
still thinking about going to see it,
okay,
maybe we should.
Well, we can start with there. Is it worth seeing?
Yes.
Should we go there? Yeah.
Yes, it's worth seeing if you're a fan of the franchise. If you're not and you're just looking for an entertaining movie, don't bother.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't bother.
Eli, what do you think?
I mean, yes. If you like Thor, you know, go see it. It's not as bad as the Dark World.
Yeah.
I'll concede that. I think that's still one of the worst Thor movies made. Absolutely.
That might be my benchmark.
Yeah.
I think it was the worst MCU movie ever made.
That's up to debate, but fair. That's fair. That's fair. Won't go on a tangent with that. But yeah, fair.
Hey, future show.
There you go.
There you
I'll
go,
take
yeah.
that. But yeah, I think and I had a talk with a few people. I told I was going to go see this movie, and a lot of them was like, you know, hey, you know, I'm marveled out, and this and that and the other. And I would admit that this is probably not one of those movies that would reinvigorate you to get back into it. I will admit that. You do have to be a diehard on that sense. Now, if you just like just seeing something that you've never really have seen before in a lot of movies, and if your sense of humor can let you go towards that, well then again, you will be entertained, but it's just a mixture of a lot of crazy but realistic stuff. And I think that was the problem. In Ragnarok, it was like we're just going completely absurd. Everything is absurd, you know.
Well, but no. It was absurd, but it made like Thor wasn't played as being as big of a goof. In Ragnarok as he is here. This felt like it was absurd. The humor in Ragnarok was kind of like, oh, wow, that's surprising. This is very funny. But it's balanced off by the fact that the Grand Master is such a goof.
Well, yeah.
Mark Ruffalo, when he's Banner, is a goof. The Hulk has his moments of being a goof. But, I mean, they're not all the time. They have moments where they show this. This felt forced all the way through. And I don't know if this counts as a spoiler or not, but it even affected Christian Bale at one point. At one point, and it's very tangible, and y'all probably know it before I can even finish saying it, it felt like Christian Bale was playing this seriously the entire way through, and then someone tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, look, I don't know if anyone told you, but we all are funny and none of us take this all that seriously." And all of a sudden, he started hamming it up a bit like he was a 60s Batman villain.
Oh, yeah.
I think you know exactly what I'm talking about, too, where it just seemed like such a departure from the character we had just seen all the way up to like, wait, this is who he is? That certainly wasn't the guy I felt like I knew up until this moment.
I don't think they established him well enough to know who that person is, you know?
I would agree to a sense, and in fact, like I think he's the most relatable, one of the most relatable and identifiable characters in the movie. Like, I'm telling you, like, I'm watching this dude and I'm sympathizing, and I can't really say why. I guess we'll get to it in the spoiler section. I can't really say why, but at the end of the movie, I mean, he really kind of turns out to be right.
Yeah.
I mean, his purpose in life, and it comes from his hatred to the gods, it's well justified, and it's not like they showed you anything that would make you say to yourself, yeah, that one god was a douche, but not every god. No, every god was pretty much like that, except for Thor.
Except for Thor.
Yeah,
Except for Thor. And even Thor, with the Guardians of the Galaxy, had his moments of self-indulgence. I'm not really worried about the peons. I'm just doing my thing.
Oh, that was my favorite part.
Kind of stuff.
That was my favorite part of the whole movie. And the other thing is that, I don't think this is a spoiler at all, is that one big thing in most MCU movies is that the hero, you got to feel for the hero being in some sort of threat. I mean, I could go down the line where, you know, even Iron Man had that moment, Spider-Man's had that moment, Captain America's had that moment. Thor did not have that moment in this movie, and it was never at one point did I ever feel. Now, I was entertained by the love dynamic, I guess.
The awkwardness of the ex.
Of all that stuff. But I never felt at any point that Thor was in a threatening situation. There was a point in that movie where I was like, oh man, like, okay, he in trouble. And then it like just didn't even happen. So, I mean, I think that's another factor of it, that it was just like, well, Thor's just doing his thing. He's just going to get the end of it, and he's not going to have any problem. And I think that's another like huge situation that I had with it, was like, he's still a hero, you know what I mean? He still got to have, he still has to have a level of threat that is going to occur to him, where you're going to be like, I don't know. I mean, I know the movie says Thor Love and Thunder, but I don't think
I think they tried, but I don't think they were successful.
I was going to actually ask that, and I don't know if this is an appropriate place or not, but can Thor be killed?
Yes.
Yeah, he can be killed.
Well, that other god got killed, so why not he? Yeah.
Right. But now to leave.
I mean, I guess he could have with that sword, right?
Right. That's what I was going to say.
Other than that, because it seems he's pretty indestructible.
Yeah, to Lee's point, they make it clear like you can only kill a god with this sword. But there is a part in the earlier Thor movies where Odin says something like, we're not gods per se. We can be killed. We die. I mean, Odin dies. I mean,
right.
So
he can break his heart.
Yeah. I believe Thor could. Loki died.
Yeah.
Got him
several times.
Right. Several, yes.
Right. But he was never in any threat. If you think of it, maybe one part, but he was never in any threatening spot in the whole movie.
Yeah, I think they tried to make us stick, but it didn't really work. Yeah.
I will say, and I want it to be known, like, again, this is nothing, one of the positives, and I should have maybe even led with this, I'll pay to watch Chris Hemsworth be Thor every time. Because he's got this.
He is Thor, yeah.
Yeah, you want to see him portrayed on screen, and you want to see him portrayed by Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
I mean, he embodies this character. His performance is a joy, even when you see the jokes coming. I just really felt like this was a discombobulated mess of a movie, and it really makes me wonder, because it's been 3 years since Endgame, and outside of the concept of a multiverse, we still have no freaking sense of the greater all sense of where the MCU is going, and we've yet to be introduced to any truly compelling new characters to help make up for the loss of Iron Man and Captain America and Black Panther. You know, Lord knows what they're doing with that. We have yet to be introduced anyone that's going to fill the void of those characters.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that, and that's, like I said, I gave the ranking. I loved it, but it was on the brink of and if I had a second chance at it might have changed. Who knows? Yeah. But that's the thing. That's my complaint has been with the entire. I guess Phase 4 is what we're in. I don't even know what the hell number it is.
Yeah, you're right.
I think it's 4.
You're right.
It's I don't know how all of this connects.
Yeah.
At least with the original first 3 phases. I mean, you had Coulson who kind of showed up almost at the maybe even if it was just the end scene or even Thanos. And the end scenes that kind of tied things together. You knew where this was kind of going. But and this is thinking back with the entire, and I've been watching it religiously for the past year and a half or so, since the Phase 4 started. And it's like, I don't know where, and I've said this on previous reviews of movies, like I don't know, and shows, I don't know how this all ties in together.
Yeah.
People have told me, it's like, yeah, it's all about the multiverse. It's like, yeah, but I can assume that, but it's not concrete.
No,
it's like,
not.
this is what they're leading to. And I can buy. Everybody's kind of speculating or whatever else, and I get the argument. Oh, the origin movies. Like, yeah, it was origin movies too in the original phases, but there was still some. Even if it was just an end scene or post credit scene, there was still something that kind of linked them.
Yes.
I mean, aside from Hulk, that was kind of different, but that was like the beginning of the whole thing. But I mean, I need something here. So I don't know how Loki fits into all of this. I don't know how Captain America does with all this. I don't know what's
Shang-Chi.
Hawkeye, Shang-Chi. Yeah, Shang-Chi. I mean, I enjoyed Shang-Chi, and I figure he'd be part of this because he's all about the freak. The strange. About the I just don't know. And I don't know.
There's an element where it seems to be getting a little bit more ethereal too, which is making it a little bit even more harder to follow with the Eternals. My God, we talked about how hard it is to even stay awake during that movie.
Won't even review it for the sake of that.
Right. Yeah. Then the concept of eternity being introduced into this movie and gods existing in different planes and I mean, it's really getting heady, and it just feels like at some point in time we should be starting to gain focus as to where we're going, so that way we have a foothold before we just lose interest.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a year and a half. I mean, there should be something that kind of ties it. I don't know if they were banking on multiverse to do it, but multiverse didn't do it.
Well,
Doctor Strange movie,
Loki's the only thing that really gave me hope. Like,
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, I got excited with the Loki 2 trailer. It's like, okay, maybe this will tie something. I don't know.
No,
but they're not going to release that for a while.
But I don't know of a single movie they've released in the theater where I've been like, yeah, okay, now I'm
the same way with the TV shows. It's like the movies and like Miss Marvel. I enjoy Miss Marvel, but I don't know how it all fits.
Yeah,
they all have her and Shang-Chi have these little bangle thingies that have mystical powers. But like, okay, how does that all work?
I was telling my daughter, I was watching it the other day. She was like, "Is it good? Should I watch it?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
No, we hadn't talked about it on the show. I'm not the same way.
60% of it is just learning about Muslim culture.
I dig it.
Yeah, I dig it. But I mean, it's like it's not. Is it kid appropriate? Not that it wouldn't be appropriate to expose them, but I mean, are they just going to be like, oh, this is like being in social studies? I zone out every once in a while watching it.
No, it's easy to do. We didn't talk about this on the show yet, but I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
They had 5 episodes, and I thought it resolved it, but they have one more episode next week while I'm on Disney, and I'm going to wake up and watch it, but it's like, I don't get why
are you dealing with that?
Yeah, why is there a 6th episode when whatever you had to resolve was resolved?
I was gonna say though,
if I could, just to answer the question I posed, is it worth seeing it? Yes.
Yeah.
Not in 3D, but if it were released the same time as like on a streaming service, then I would say, I would be happy with the streaming service.
Yeah.
You paid for Disney Plus, and it shows up. Yeah, please watch it on Disney. Yeah.
But I mean, there's something to have it on the big screen and the movie seats. And,
sure.
But
look, I
think this one I could have enjoyed either way.
Yeah,
it would affect me the same. I don't need the big screen. I don't need the heated chairs or the comfy recliners. For this one, I didn't feel like I needed it, but real quick before we get into your point, Lee, what do you think? Is this worth seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fun and perfect for summertime movie, if you want to say that. It's like it's got enough action and stuff. If I had the choice of seeing it on Disney Plus, I probably would have done that, but that's also just because, again, I'm not clamoring just to see every MCU movie. It's more of like, okay, well, we're going to review it for the show. I'll sit back and enjoy it. Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth seeing. And it's something that, again, maybe even if you're not the biggest Marvel fan, if you just want a fun movie that's got some action and got some little drama going to it, and if you like Tio Wakiki or whatever his name is, if you like his style, then you'll like it.
If you like getting freaky, yeah.
Yeah,
Taika Waititi.
Mm-hmm.
In
Freaky
Waikiki.
Wakiki.
Yes,
In
that's
Waikiki.
right. So Eli, back to you, sir. You were about to say something.
I was like, I ain't talking after that.
Yeah.
Y'all were talking about what the Phase 4 MCU, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, the overarching thing that links it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was all my 2 cents was on that. And really, I'm with you. I don't know. All I can say is it must be a chance to introduce all the various streams of cinema and the Disney Plus streaming service. That's all I can really tell you, because that's what they're forcing you to do. Like Doctor Strange was a perfect example of that, where they had Captain America. There you go. If you hadn't seen What If, you want to know who that was.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's not fair to the consumer or the average viewer on that sense that it's all broken up like that. But yeah, I think it's just a money grab on this phase.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, I'm not saying that this is what happened, because I'm sure it's not, but it does seem like all of us walked away from that Phase 1 or whatever. Whenever
the first 3 phases,
the first section of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we walked away with that was amazing. What a great grand plan they had put together, and what a ride! And I can't wait for the next half. And we all just kind of pictured that Kevin Feige and them were just
would deliver,
cracking their knuckles, like, yeah, wait till you see what we got planned for you next. And now you're starting to question whether or not they're just sitting around like, oh my God, these guys really like that. What do we do now? I don't know. Just throw it all out there while they still like it. Like, just give them
they don't have an overarching vision.
Give them. And now we're starting to question, where the hell are we going?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I feel like it's time we get into the spoilers. Is that fair to say, guys?
I think we've given enough spoiler-free content.
So look, if you haven't seen the movie yet, go ahead and hit pause. Come back to us later after you've seen the movie, however you want to see the movie. And we'll tell you the rest about it. We'll talk about all the spoiler-filled stuff. But yeah, now's your chance to hit pause and stop on this show. Get out of it so that we can get into the spoiler-filled stuff and just talk about things left and right, like Thor's ass and everything else. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're about to get to the spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Spoiler time! Spoiler. And to set up the spoilers, man, Jane Fonda, Jane
Foster
freaking dies and makes it to Valhalla and sees Heimdall. There you go. That's how I'm leading off the spoiler-filled section.
Oh man, they did that character so wrong.
Heimdall?
I really that was one of the things I was saying earlier, that in the comics, that's how she is. She has cancer, and she gets the hammer.
Jane Foster. Okay,
yes.
okay, I got you.
And so I was like, oh wow, they actually stuck to it. And I've seen some people say, Tiki Waititi or whatever, he did really well. They say, no, that was a comic thing. God damn it, that was a comic thing. But yeah, I hated to see that she died. I was like,
you wanted to see more of Lady Thor?
I thought that.
I would have. I'm kind of with Eli. I would have rather see Thor and Jane go forth than Thor and
the little girl.
Spoiler alert! Yes, Thor has a adopted daughter.
Thor dad
/ God.
A piece of eternity.
Yes,
God bod.
Yes,
God dad.
Who's his actual daughter, I believe.
Yeah. I saw that.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is his actual daughter.
That's cool.
That's cute. What does Mama look like? I want to know now.
Obviously, she's a brunette.
That was one of my major problems with the movie.
The end part?
Not just the end part, the whole thing. So Jane's dying of cancer.
Yeah.
And the chemo just isn't working. She checks with Dr. Selvig. I'm sorry, Jane, it's not happening. But then Mjolnir is reaching out to her, and she looks it up, and Mjolnir brings her great health. And so you're like, okay, so if she can just get Mjolnir, she'll be cured. She gets Mjolnir, cool, she's fighting, awesome. And then one day she drops it, and she looks sickly again. It's like, well, apparently Mjolnir isn't helping her to her body to fight the cancer and bringing her good health. So she has to let go of Mjolnir to let her body start fighting the cancer again, which she ultimately chooses not to do. But didn't we just establish that even without Mjolnir, her body was not beating the cancer?
Yeah, that was one of those,
it was like one of those things that was kind of trippy where Thor's like, no, you need to stay in bed and rest. And it seems like at some point in time she should have said, hey, I'm a scientist, and I know that it's not helping me. And I also know because I tried doing it, that's not going to help me either. I'm doomed either way. I'd rather go out swinging.
Yeah.
Having said that, I would rather your version, which is that she is fine. I don't think we needed this. And that they go on
being Thor.
at least one more movie.
I think
Yeah, that would have might.
I think
that
that
thing.
would have taken it to another level. I think that would have helped to establish that franchise a lot better. Because to be fair, Thor is really the only original member left. Like as far as like
Banner,
that we
Hulk.
know of, yeah, because we don't know what Hawkeye's doing.
Hulk.
They just gave him in Hulk,
yeah, there's Hulk. But I mean, you know what I mean? Like as far as like the
having a movie,
the big ones, the big names,
right?
You know, and I think that would have been a good thing. I personally thought that the way that they said, oh yeah, this is their relationship, and they were doing all those little flashbacks and stuff. Like I was like, I don't need this, but I get it. If someone's never seen any Thor movie before, you need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought at the same time when they built it up, I was like, well, yeah, she was a better fighter than he was. Like I was liking,
because she had Mjolnir.
Yeah, I was liking her better than him.
You were liking her as a fighter, but as a character.
No, I was
Valkyrie was a better character.
Yes, yeah. But Thor himself, since he never was in any threat, he never was really serious. He always just had that, that kind of.
He was the buffoon in the whole story.
nonchalant, like, I'll just figure this out for you and blah 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 blah.
Well, because you can't make either of the two ladies a buffoon, and Korg's kind of Korg, so all the buffoon jokes had to fall on Thor.
Yeah,
Right.
He had to be the goof.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Thor's
true.
got a
Well, that's
Thor.
kind of why I was asking too, because it seemed like, as I said earlier, like he never really was in danger. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna go over here to the middle of the entire world and go find this guy.
Yeah, and you're like, well, how's he going to do it? He's alone. There's no Valkyrie. There's no Jane. He needed them all. No, I'll just deputize a classroom full of children with my magic Thor powers, and they'll go into battle against shadow monsters. And what do you know? Not a single scratch on any of them.
Dad.
They just take their teddy bear and point their teddy bear light of Thorness at these shadow and just boom, they kill them all.
Does that happen in comic books at all? I was wondering about any of that happens.
Not to that degree, not for that series, though.
But another question: does he have that power to do that in the comic books at all? Out of curiosity,
not in any that I've read. Doesn't mean that he does it in anything current.
Okay.
But I mean, Thor, like, okay, in the Jason Aaron book, he does meet other gods.
Okay.
And actually there was a part in there, if you notice, he changed his costume. Like there was one point he changed his costume like 3 or 4 times in like a walk or something like that.
Yeah.
There was one that was like nothing but black leather.
Mm-hmm.
That was what he would wear in that series.
Okay.
Which I was totally fine if he did that. But no, to my knowledge, I've never really seen him do that.
Okay.
But
so my next question: is there a Love and Thunder in the comic books? So did they do that whole thing, or is that something they came up with the MCU? Or
that's a great question. Does Thor have like a sidekick child, like a Robin?
I've not seen that.
Okay.
Not something pulled from eternity. Not there was no friend of the God Butcher or nothing like that.
I mean, that's kind of a weird way to take it then, because like, okay, well now you really have to go from here that he's got a kid. All the movies from now on, he's got to have the kid with him. You can't just, I mean, I guess you could just leave the kid behind at the babysitter or whatever, but obviously he's training her to fight and things like that. So we would expect going forward, the next Thor movie, the kid's going to be in it.
You can kind of assume that she can hold her own, especially when he leads her into battle against those whatever at the cut scene or the end scene or something.
I was going to say the only thing I can see with that is like that's another cosmic tie-in since that kid is part eternity. You know, like that.
Yeah, okay,
You
yeah.
know, but like, because they did that weird thing when they did that Stranger Things effect.
Right.
There was the water, and she walked out, but the reflection was a piece of eternity.
Yeah.
Which eternity is way bigger than that in the comic books. Like I thought that was so broke to see.
I wanted to ask you that. What do you think of how they portrayed eternity?
That was broke.
Really?
That was terrible.
I only know of it because I read that it was part of the comic book. It's like, okay, this is exciting. So I wanted to hear your take on how they did did they do eternity?
And let's put it like
they broke him.
When they when they said, oh yeah, he's got to go to eternity and see this now. I was like, oh wow,
Your ears perked up.
I did. Yeah, I was like, because this. Let's put it like this: I had seen by the time it gets to this part, I've seen Thor do a Van Damme split with chicken hawk people. I've seen him tear up buildings. I've seen him FaceTime or FaceTime
face
kids. You know what I mean? I've seen all this crazy stuff. And so when they say, he's gonna get to eternity, I'm like, oh wow, like, man, that's okay. Yeah, I'm on board. Like, I'm on board now. And then when Gore finally gets to eternity, and it's like this little cutout,
a little silhouette.
Yeah, like, there you go.
It's kind of like the center of the Polynesian resort.
It was
like a little bitty fountain in the
It
center.
didn't even have the face. Like Eternity usually has a face.
He has a
really?
face,
Kind
yes.
of, like it's kind of like shadowed, but it's definitely there.
You can tell it's there. Okay.
It's kind of like, so okay, so imagine space. And then there's like
in the
a
form of a man,
just
like you saw.
Yeah. But it's all
bigger?
space.
But it's huge, and there's a face, and
It's very intimidating.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, the character would be way more intimidating,
He should be bigger than,
larger than life, literally.
like, I guess, bigger than how they portrayed. I'm thinking Dormammu right now, how they did in the original Doctor Strange.
That's-
at that epic scale.
Yeah.
Would you say bigger than that?
do you think?
I mean, he's a galaxy almost.
Okay.
Do you think Disney World can get away with an attorney meet and greet? Just have a screen cut out.
I was gonna say,
And
yeah.
they just project the universe.
Kind of like Oz.
The kid's like, look, Daddy, I'm with Eternity.
Make sure you kneel so that way Eternity doesn't feel insecure about you being taller than him.
Make a wish, Susie.
That's fun. That'd be like the Wizard of Oz. Like, you have a big old eternity, but behind the screen is little eternity.
Yeah.
Pay no attention to the guy behind the curtain.
I mean, I thought I was gonna see this big thing talking and like, what do you want here? You know, like, I thought they were gonna take it to another level, and then I did get disappointed when I saw.
That was it.
I was like, are you kidding me? This little bitty thing. But when the little girl walked out and there was a reflection of the eternity in the water, I was like, oh, that kid's possessed. Like, that's what I thought about. I'm like, that kid's evil, because Eternity is not a nice person,
Right.
in the book. So I'm like,
And it's not a whole lot of water just floating in free space, you know?
yeah, what is with all of this afterlife water stuff? Like, I
I felt like that was kind of like because he was lost in the desert and now he's reached, I guess,
An oasis.
an oasis or something like that. I mean, that's the way I tied it in. It was just a.
You know what it reminded me of? Eli and I had just gone to Atlanta, and we saw Dr. King's final
Memorial.
resting
Final
place, the
resting,
memorial
yeah.
where his tomb is, and it's in a waiting pool that was kind of similar to that. And
Okay.
it's really kind of insulting, but like because like you're there the whole time, you just. Oh man, I'm here and I'm in the presence of Dr. King and there's the internal flame. And all of a sudden, every like 30 seconds, like, please do not get in the waiting pool.
Oh my god.
Do not.
What,
Were there
people
people-
getting in it?
No, there wasn't people
I'm
getting
just
in it.
telling you not to.
Right. It's just like it would just ruin. Like every once in a while, you'd just be thinking to yourself, "My God, what he did and what he fought for." And this
Please
is
don't
really
get in.
please don't get in the waiting. And now all of a sudden, I'm not thinking about his journey and what he's done. I'm thinking about, are there really people who are just like, jumping in the waiting pool and having, splash fights and, diving off of
Kinda like
Dr.
Family
King's
Guy.
tomb? Yeah.
Women just
Is
take
there a
off their
sign,
clothes
there's
and
a
start
sign that
playing.
says no diving?
There might be.
that water did look
God.
inviting.
Etched into the tombstone. Like,
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
But to your point, I think Disney could get away with giving out plushes of the goats with the scream the scream
for
factor.
Sure. You
Yeah.
squeeze them.
all right, I would not buy those goats. I get that y'all like.
I like the goats.
They were annoying from the first moment, and the only reason that they kind of became funny is because every once in a while, in a moment, you'd forget they were even there, and all of a sudden you'd hear that.
Yeah.
You'd chuckle like, "Oh God, they're still doing this."
Yeah.
No, it was. I laughed from the beginning when the guys were like, "Oh no, these are yours now. You can have them." Like they were wanting to get rid of them, of course, because they're stupid screaming goats.
Right.
But they made it seem like it was an offering to Thor. Like, oh no, you please, they're yours now.
Right. No, I got that, and that was
funny.
That was cool. That was funny that they were pawning. They were foisting their goats onto the. Yes, that was funny. But the goats themselves, they got annoying very quickly.
They were very annoying, and for the pretty much like I laughed when they showed up because the scream is so unnerving.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's aggravating as hell.
It's a human scream.
Yeah.
It's a human scream, but it's like it's just so unnerving to see coming out of a goat that you're just like ooh. But then to Danny's point, you would forget, and then like there would be these action scenes like in what is it, the God Planet.
Yeah.
Right.
Omnipotent City.
Omnipotent City,
Yeah, they like they busted, like here's this moment they busted, and you're like, oh yeah, and then like they do that crazy scream, you're like, oh god,
yeah, there they are.
Yeah, there it is.
That's what would make me laugh about the ghosts. It wasn't that the ghosts were funny. It's like you just forget, like, oh, that's right, they're still doing that.
Yeah, and towards the latter parts of the movie, it was like, okay, can they even have a different type of scream? I would have taken them talking.
Well, here's the thing: is like what made it funny for me is the fact that it was a total like internet meme at one point.
Goat screaming?
Goat screaming. Yeah, you look for it on YouTube or in Vines or anything else. It's big of that, so I started laughing because it's like they really went there, and so it was the ridiculousness of the fact that they used that scream.
Okay,
because they do. I mean, they do it. I forget the singers. Some girl singer that always writes about her boyfriends that she breaks up with.
Adele.
No. Blonde.
I was going to say, you're going to really need to be more specific than that.
Yeah, no, she always is very surprised that she wins anything. As she gets an award, she's like,
Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift, yeah. There's some song where, but it's in the internet meme, they replace it with a goat screaming. Because apparently goats can scream like that, I guess. But it was like a whole internet meme thing. I was like, wow.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
For me, this is funny because they went there, and it's like, that's such a cheap joke, but they kept going to that well.
But you see, that goes to the point of saying, okay, I get it. You want to make it like Ragnarok, where you're like, hey, you see all these other MCU movies, they seem kind of serious, and they have a couple of jokes here. We're going far left, and it worked for us on this, Ragnarok. And we're gonna do it on this one, but see, like you know what I'm saying, like goats screaming and stuff, while this guy's trying to figure out where lost children and people are in another plane and stuff. That's just.
And they've been doing that a lot, though. I think, they'll balance they'll try to balance like a serious thing, and then throw some comic relief for some strange reason out of the blue.
Okay, that's exactly what I want to talk about, because that's one of my hugest problems in the movie. Because with Ragnarok, it kind of starts off funny with him pretending to be a prisoner, getting the guy to divulge a bunch of information. It's like, so I just have to do this. Oh, okay then, and then he breaks out of the chains because it sets the tone immediately. Mm-hmm. Here, you start off with a young 10-year-old girl dying a slow, agonizing death in her father's arms. And then he runs into the God that he's prayed to for salvation, and the God just pretends to just sit there and mock him and laugh at his pain, and like, there's more of you out there. And it's just like a really wrecking, like, emotion, like, oh my God, what a horrible... Like, anybody, especially you're talking to three fathers here, or four, with Lee. Yeah, I mean, I would stab anybody in the friggin' eye that did that to me, like that mocked my child's death. I mean, to put me in that frame of mind as a moviegoer, I don't appreciate, because I'm here to have fun. This is Thor. This is love. I don't want to be reminded of child death. So to start off the movie like that, it's fine. Okay, cool. Then we jump right into the Guardians of the Galaxy. Now I'm supposed to, like, again, just make with the laughs. And it takes a while. It takes a while for me to just settle in and like, okay, now the spirit is lightened, and now, okay. And then a major character, Jane, is diagnosed with terminal stage 4 cancer, and she's on the brink of death. And it's like, oh my God, my grandmother had cancer. My grandfather had... It's like, I don't need to be reminded of this. This is a horrible thing. Like, why are you putting me into this for a storytelling device and expecting me, again, to go right back to laughing at what's going on? But just, they do it, and then you go, okay, let me try and buy into this again. And I'm laughing, and I'm like, and child abduction. We're going to steal all the children. In a plot that felt very reminiscent to Batman Returns, where the Penguin distracted the elite and took all their kids. And was going to drown them in the sewers.
That's funny.
In cages. But hey, okay, it's just child abduction. No worries, we got that. And then you meet Sif, and it's like, oh wow, I haven't seen her for a while. Saw her in the first couple of movies, and now she's back, and she's lying there on a battlefield with her arm cut off. You don't see it, but her
Oh, he says it, yeah. He's missing an arm.
But
yeah.
they're just using it as oh, well, maybe your arm's in Valhalla, but you're not like you're making fun of an amputee, really?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
what the hell are we doing?
Yeah, my disappointment is I wish they would have used more of Sif because I like Sif.
I couldn't agree more.
I've seen her in a bunch of different MCU things. And it's like
It felt like they just brought her in, cut up her arm,
Just for
so
the
they
joke.
could get some
Yeah.
cheap jokes out of
just
it.
for the joke. Yeah,
You can't flip flop between agony and comedy that easily.
and that's
and that's what they've been doing. You know,
And the only thing
Right.
that Anchor did was goat screaming. And so, that's the part that made it weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would have that, and you'd be like, oh, and
There's
then
this-
like something
there's-
else like that.
There's this one part where Thor is sitting there and the children are scared. And they're in this cage, and he's sitting there, and he's trying to reassure them, and don't worry, we're coming for you. And why is my nose itching? And my nose keeps itching. And da-da-da-da. And it's because Valkyrie, for
Valkyrie's,
no
yeah.
good reason, why he needs to maintain focus and concentration and reassure a bunch of scared, shitless children who don't know what's going to happen to them. She just decides it's the optimal time to tickle his nose just for a cheap freaking laugh.
Right.
And you're like, what is this? Like, really? Like,
it's kind of wild. I wonder if that's the style they're going for now.
I didn't even like that force task, what I call it, the Thor time you want to call it. But I don't want that
Oh,
no more.
for whatever you call it, the
Yeah,
force
just
projection?
I think that's such
well,
a
use Heimdall's kid with the eyes.
with the-
I don't know.
And I know they try to overly explain that, but the kid was like, I don't really have that many powers. Well,
Oh, your
just-
dad taught me.
Yeah, exactly. You
Let
know,
me
like
teach you.
it's such a broke plot device. Like I don't know. I'm starting to not like that anymore because it's like it puts the person there. Somebody one day is going to figure out how to actually do something where the person can force time themselves and then actually do something. Because otherwise, it's kind of pointless. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like they're
yeah.
just there, and the person's like,
Force
"Yeah,
time.
I'm going to be there for you." And
It's a cheap plot device.
it is very cheap because it's like use that time that I'm spending watching your movie to figure out how to move the plot forward.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need I wasn't attached to the children in the first place. I mean, don't get me wrong, when the kids got taken, I knew that was bad, but I didn't know any of those children. I didn't know anything about
Yeah, we didn't find out it was Heimdall's kid until like he was already caught.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like they're having a fight with Gore. And then that was the other thing. So Gore, he has that sword, and he has a sword up to Thor. I thought he was going to stab Thor or something like that, and then the whole thing was about Thor trying to figure out how to, like, survive this slight wound, because that would have been a lot, right? Like, he did get, taken out with the thing, but he got nicked, and he was like, I'm dying, oh my God, I'm dying. But that didn't even happen.
Right.
He was like, don't touch me with that, and that was it. Like, again, he was never in any threat whatsoever.
Well,
None.
well, let's talk about that because there were a lot of that. You remember you watched Korg get blown up. You're like, oh, damn, they killed Korg. No. Okay. It was like the Chewbacca thing.
He's a face, yeah.
It was like the Chewbacca thing from, what was that last movie they did with Star Wars where you see the thing blow up? You're like, they killed Chewbacca.
Oh, yeah,
No.
Chewbacca
He's okay. It's a Chewbacca phenomenon. They kill Korg. And you're like,
Phenomenon.
damn, he's friggin' dead. And oh, no, they find his face. Everything's okay. Then they stab Valkyrie, which apparently getting hit by a lightning bolt in the chest is just like getting stabbed by a lightsaber in Star Wars. Only the weak let that affect them.
Yeah.
The strong still live.
Cauterizes.
Yeah, so you're like, they killed Valkyrie. No. She's fine. So you're like, well, surely then Jane will be fine at some point in time because she's got a hammer, she's got Thor. I figured since apparently all you got to do is make it to Eternity and make a wish that Thor would just like walk out, walk back in and go, excuse me, Eternity, my wish is to bring Jane Foster back to life.
Yeah.
As well as Iron Man, as well as Captain America, as well as whoever else passed away. Because there seems to be more and more ways to cheat death. And by the way,
He couldn't do that though, right? Because your boy God Butcher got there first, right?
right, maybe so, but why not come back?
It doesn't matter, though, because
Once you get there, that's it, right?
He went there. Yeah, I was gonna say he went there, made a wish, which we was in the theater, and he was like, "Yeah, what do I want today?" I was like, "Oh God, don't say love." I was like, "Don't say love." And she says love, But Thor easily could have made the wish because he made it to eternity too. I mean, there's no.
I thought they were setting up. There was like an order order of operations. So whoever gets there first.
It's not like going to a chicken mart where you gotta pick out a ticket.
No, I mean, but they say that in the movie though. It's like whoever gets there first gets.
All
gets
wishes
the wish,
line up
right?
to the left.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, seriously, that because that's what I got from the movie. It's like they said if whoever gets to him first gets their wish granted.
Well, maybe
Yeah,
he had
but
the genie pass, so he got ahead of the line. You know,
But it's hard to get to him, and that was
got the
the point.
individual lightning lane.
But Gore was able to get to him first. So I mean, that's the thing. It's like I thought they set up to where it's like if whoever gets to him
That's
first
the
can
way
make
I
the wish.
understood it too.
Yeah, but fine. But like, all you have to do is leave, and then come back.
Yeah, but if he's still if Gore Butcher's still there, then
He's
he's
dead.
still not first.
But he's dead.
No,
You're saying after he dies,
After he dies,
makes his wish, he can come back and
he
go
go
back in.
and be
I
first.
I was gonna say I thought it was just whoever makes it to eternity because the journey is so perilous.
I'm with Eli on this
That
one.
you
I
make
thought
your
the
wish.
same
Well,
thing.
that was my understanding. Whoever makes it there,
Right.
gets the wish.
But not whoever makes it first. Just if
Right.
you make it
Who
there,
just makes it.
you get it. But having said that, okay, let's say you're right. Maybe you caught something we didn't catch. I'm still saying, okay, well, cool. Why not just leave and come right back and just make the wish again? Because, I mean, that brings me to the whole thing with Gamora. Where the hell was Gamora?
Well, yeah.
I mean, Infinity War ends, and Gamora clearly is not there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You get no explanation for where Gamora went. We're seeing the Guardians of the Galaxy. Peter Quill's talking about her like she died. But there was never a scene. Like, I just kind of assumed at the end of Infinity War, since Endgame,
Endgame, yeah.
that's because she didn't know Quill because that was a different version that she split and went off into the galaxy. But the way Quill talked about her, I started looking around like, well, did she disappear with everybody else? Did she just
yeah,
go off
they
into the
never really
ether?
explained how all that works.
No.
I'm still confused about that.
There was a
And
lot
that's
that
the
didn't
thing.
explain.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years and we still don't know what the hell happened to Gamora. So I guess we got to wait until the Guardians of the Galaxy movie because clearly she'll show up there.
I guess.
And then-
we can assume that. We may be dead wrong, unfortunately.
Right. But that's the thing. It's
Yeah.
like, wait, how long we got to wait to figure this out? Because clearly she's still around. So I don't know. It
Yeah.
just seems like a really poor choice on that. Going back to what you were saying about Heimdall's kid. Okay, let's talk about the soundtrack for a second. Now, I'm a fan of Guns N' Roses, so I thought the soundtrack was great. But by my count, there were at least
There weren't a lot,
4
yeah.
Guns N' Roses
Yeah.
songs.
I was gonna say, if you don't like Guns N' Roses, you're out of luck.
Right. So, I mean, at this point, you kind of got to explain the heavy GNR involvement in this movie. And best we got was that Heimdall's son is just a huge fan, so much so that he don't want to be called his real name. He wants to be called Axel.
Axel, yeah.
I was hoping he meant Axel Foley.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping too. I'm like, because, like, seriously, unless this movie was set in the late 80s, early 90s, what kid today is that heavy into Guns N' Roses?
Yeah, man, maybe Heimdall
Maybe
taught him
put him
right.
behind in the
Heimdall
tailpipe.
probably taught him right.
I don't
mean-
know about that. I like Stone Temple Pilots, but I'm gonna change my name to Scott. He
Well, you won't, but maybe he would.
I just think that
got
like,
identity problems.
Yeah.
this is like an obvious, like, Guardians of the Galaxy should sue for gimmick infringement.
Oh, right. Well, that's why they had him in the beginning just enough so they could use that gimmick. That's what it was.
I will say this: like every time a Guns N' Roses song came on, Josh was like, "What the hell? That's Guns N' Roses." Mm-hmm. What the hell? That's Guns N' Roses. he was into it. He also kept reminding me that was the guy from Jurassic Park too. He didn't know about Guardians of the Galaxy. He's like, "Hey, that's from Jurassic Park."
He has 2 movies out right now.
Was he talking about Sam Neill or Chris Pratt?
Chris Pratt.
Nice.
Nice.
Something else about Gore. Okay, so I kind of hinted about this before. I found myself sympathizing with Gore's cause. Like, yeah, even beyond that, the first God encounter he had with that huge dick in the garden with the flower children, like
That was weird.
and then that scene felt like these were 2 actors acting in 2 separate movies. Like, Christian Bale was given this dramatic performance of a lifetime, and you felt his pain. And this guy felt like he was in a Farrelly Brothers movie. The way he was just hamming it up, it just felt awkward. The dichotomy within that performance. But as time goes on, you get to meet all the gods at Omnipotent City or whatever the hell else, and they don't want to get involved. It just seems like all the gods except for Thor are a bunch of self-indulgent dicks who only care about going to orgies. That's all they were saying. Well, what about the orgy? When are we going to do the orgy? Who's coming to the orgy? No. We need to go save the universe. Hey, you keep that up. You're not coming to the orgy.
That's my favorite line out of the movie.
You're not coming to the orgy.
I'm like, Gore, kill them all, man. They don't deserve the freaking adulation.
Oh man.
I mean, that whole thing, like, it made you sympathize with the villain in the sense that none of the gods acted even remotely likable except for Thor. And again, like I said before, even Thor had his little moment of self-indulgence when he was with the Guardians.
But isn't that the whole point of the movie, though, is that he was right all along, and that Thor ultimately, I guess, gets him to do the right thing. But I felt like that was the plot of the movie, that, these guys are a bunch of jerks and they should all die. And I don't think we disagree with it.
I'm with you. I don't disagree with it, but I certainly didn't get the idea that mass extinction of the gods was the best thing that could have happened. I didn't get that.
Question your deities?
I didn't kill all the gods were a great idea. I didn't get that.
That's why I won't take my mom to see this movie.
Because when she sees Thor's booty, she gonna be like, woo, Eli, I got the vapors.
Forget the fact they talk about killing religion. I just want to see Thor's booty cheeks. I agree. I felt for Christian Bale. I thought that was one of the more solid origin stories for a villain to have.
It was.
Absolutely.
And it even made sense to a degree, like when at the very end he does choose love, it's because the sword, which has been corrupting him all this time, and instead of going from this guy was a dick, I'm going to kill him, to I need to kill everybody, and the sword's broken, it's like, yeah, what am I doing? Who gives a damn about it? I don't know those gods. My daughter needs to get So I could buy the character, again, even though he looked like, a freaking
Voldemort.
a skinny old dude in his pajamas fighting Thor. It just did not. The visuals didn't work as well for me.
Yeah. Him fighting Thor did not.
Does Gore look better in the comic books?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
I need to check it out. I haven't looked it up yet.
Yeah, he looks like a badass.
Yeah.
He looks like somebody.
He looked like Dalsum from Street Fighter, which was
Does he?
pretty good. Yeah, pretty good character.
No.
Yeah, the shaved head. And
No, you talk about the Christian Bale version, not the actual.
Yeah.
What about the Hammer love triangle?
That was so weird. I thought it was funny.
Like, it was cute at first, but when he's drinking a beer with his hammer, I'm like, really? We're still doing, like, the scene where Stormbreaker comes around the corner and just kind of looks at him.
That one I like. That one I thought was
funny.
Yeah.
I laughed at that. But when he's tickling him and buying him a beer, I'm just like, all right, how omnipotent are these friggin' hammers? But that was kind of freaky. I'll tell you another thing that was kind of freaky. The bow emoji god.
That was weird.
Like, what the hell?
The god of dumplings.
Were they just, like, throwing darts at a dartboard? Like, what is the craziest crap we can come up with?
That was for the kids, man.
Yeah,
that was for the kids.
It was just a little. It was definitely some comic relief. It was like, oh, here's this god, and then something goofy right in the middle.
Oh, look, just a quick aside. I just looked up Gore the God Butcher. Oh, my God, he's awesome.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yes. Thank you.
Jeez.
But you're not going to get that because they didn't have to hide Christian Bale's face.
I know.
And then what's the point of hiring Christian Bale?
And that's the thing, is that that storyline was pretty epic. I mean, it put Jason Aaron, the writer of that Thor thing, on the map. The only thing I'd read from him before was something called Scalped, which was that's a good book.
So to your point, all he gets is this one movie, and that's it.
Yeah,
for that character, that's a shame.
It's like Jane. Like, I really would have liked some footage of her learning to become the mighty Thor.
Oh,
he never got any of that. And by the way, what was her killer catchphrase at the end? Like, seriously, she just whispers it into his ear, dies, and we never hear it again.
Yeah, because the last one she had before that, "Eat My Hammer," was terrible.
Yeah,
that was good and terrible.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Look, don't worry. There's other universes she exists in, and we'll see them again.
Maybe it was, "Hey, nail, meet the hammer." I don't know.
Thor, I want to nail you.
Wow.
Hammer me, Thor.
Boom, boom.
And Korg was not that funny in this. I'm sorry. He was.
He wasn't as. He was
not as effective. Again, you suffered from the lack of good sidekicks in this movie as you had with Banner / Hulk and Ragnarok, as you had with Loki. The chemistry between Thor and his compadres were not exactly as good in this movie. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because they couldn't be equally the goofs that he was. You're playing Jane seriously. You're playing Valkyrie for the most part seriously. So maybe that had something to do with it. But Korg was just kind of there.
And he's a big guy.
Yeah.
He didn't do nothing.
No, do nothing.
You know what it is. We don't usually bring political stuff up this, but I think they were trying to address as many political things that are out in the ether as they could.
We weren't going to touch that. We weren't going to.
Yeah,
touch
I didn't want to touch either, but I mean, it kind of stares you in the face. It's like they were trying to do it, but I don't think they accomplished what they were trying to do.
Hold your hand.
Any of it.
It's like, for those who can't pick up on subtleties, we're just going to beat you over the head with the fact that, yes, I don't know if you've noticed or not because we've hinted at it 1,000 times, but just in case you haven't noticed, Valkyrie and Korg are gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
there you go.
Yeah, we noticed, dude. It's a PG-13 movie. Totally, to me at least. I can't speak as a freaking. To me, if you're doing that in a PG-13 movie, totally cool. If you're doing it below PG-13 with kids, do it in subtlety. Do it without directly saying so. I don't want to have to explain two daddies to my 6-year-old. I equate it, like I've said this before, it's like explaining basic math to a kid and then jumping to algebra. Like before I've even gone through basic math. You see, when a man and a woman love each other, and I haven't even gotten to that conversation, but I'm already doing algebra. And then you get to trans stuff, and that's like calculus. Woo! So, yeah, I don't mind them doing it, but then be edgy with it. It's PG-13. Why put all this kid stuff with it? But go there. Why can't Valkyrie have a love?
Yeah, it's funny because I've been reading articles about it, and it's like they all seem to agree that they did a miserable job of trying to address all that.
But that's not the genre to really address that at. The superhero genre, look, the most serious thing you had in that movie was someone dealing with cancer. That's all you needed. And someone else dealing with their theologic beliefs. Those are two serious things in themselves. You don't really need anything else. But it's a superhero movie. You can have a drama movie that talks about someone trying to fight against themselves, and if they love someone, you can have that. But look, villain, good guy, superpowers. That's what this genre is. You don't need all that other stuff.
But if you're a businessman trying to put something together creative like this, they're not thinking about that.
Yeah, I understand.
It's like I was going to say this at some point. It's like it's as much as the creatives were involved in this, I don't think they were as involved as it should be.
Yeah,
I think somewhere was a business decision being made to make these things happen because that's what's hot right now.
I agree with that.
I agree, and I think that, to your point, Kev, I think that kind of goes. It's like, man, if you're going to go for it, go for it.
Exactly.
You made the movie PG-13. Don't just play subtle lip service to it. If you want it to be a thing, let it be a thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't just feel like you need to play like just lip
cater
service
to it. Yeah, exactly. No, I totally agree. I completely agree.
Don't take my genre and then use that for too much other stuff. If you can't, again, like we talked about earlier, make your phase cohesive to talk about who's the next big bad.
That's a good point. Yeah,
I mean, if this is the platform, I understand that. I'm not in this, but I
think they're going to work it in at every chance they get, just so you can get that money.
And that's fine. They want to work it in, but
do it well, right?
People are not stupid. They can recognize, hey, they're just throwing this in for this, that, and but I mean, if you don't tell compelling, episodic stories,
big time storytelling,
you're not going to bring me back for the next one. And that's the thing. You got to give me a reason. Well, I got to go see that one because I got to find out how that pays off from that,
right? And
what the villain is going to do from that to that to that. And if you're using valuable screen time to pander.
Yeah, look, if you want to do the North Star movie or if you want to do Young Avengers and you're talking about Wicked and Hulkling, like those are two characters right there who,
Man, I wish I had an inkling that they were going that direction.
I'm just...
that'd be great.
Well, yeah, but
we've gotten zero, right?
I'm just saying that, I'm just saying that, I have no problem if you want to do that, but at least those... I just gave you 3 examples or 2 examples if you want to call it that.
Copyright ivorycomics.com.
Bam, I help you out. When you're like, hey, look...
I got to get that in for you. I got to protect you, man.
I appreciate that. If here's an agenda we want to push forth and have everyone be aware of, and here are 2 characters that are established in the MCU universe or the Marvel Comics universe, if you will, that already have that. Yeah. So now that's part of that character's distinction. Can't say nothing to that. Now let's put it like this: you now have a choice as to if you want to, partake to see the movie or not. But you at least know what you're dealing with. Like, I ain't had no need for rock people holding hands and everything by the loud pit.
Yeah, I had a rock person with a goatee.
With
No,
the,
that was
with the
kinda fun.
mustache, you know what I'm saying, look like Freddie Mercury and stuff. Like I was good.
That's kind of a shitty way to mate, though. I gotta be honest.
In a volcano?
Yeah, hold hands together and stick your hands in the volcano until a baby pops up a year later.
Yeah, it's weird.
Forget the volcano. Just come here to New Orleans in the summer.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that right now, and probably a bunch of you guys will split babies.
Yes, Lord. Yes,
Don't
Lord.
need no lava for that.
No.
Jeez. So what else? Anything else we got left to say about
I
this
think
movie?
we said it all.
Yeah.
Any ideas that we left unturned?
One question.
What?
Oh, we got a question. Okay.
Okay,
Want to end with this question? This is like the wrap up.
No. You just doesn't have to wrap it up, you know. But so they had the after scene. You mentioned one, which was
With
that
Valhalla
Jane,
and Heimdall, which I loved seeing Heimdall again.
Yes.
I like
But
Heimdall.
what about the one before that?
Hercules.
Hercules.
Hercules. What is that?
That's the
I
dude-
just know the guy from Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
with me
So
too.
is
He's
that
like-
is that an exciting thing to see this guy on the big screen on that format?
It's an exciting thing to see the guy from Ted Lasso. I don't know about the look. I don't know where the character's going to go.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Yeah.
I mean, granted, he looks like that in the comics.
Well, with a beard.
Oh, does he really?
Beard with the helmet. Like,
Yeah,
like
that's
all
how he looks. Yeah,
Yeah,
his
that's what I'm
uniform is how he looks in the book. Yeah.
But the Ted Lasso guy is not nearly as buff as Hercules. Yeah, I mean, Hercules is like Thor. I mean, he's
Right.
built.
Right.
right.
So I'm
So
curious
we
about.
believe that now he's going to unleash Hercules on the people or something. It's supposed to be like to get revenge.
Well, and Hercules is mostly a good guy, right?
I took it
Yeah,
as
that's what I'm
Hercules and Zeus are going to get into a fight with Thor. Is what I took it.
Yeah,
from it.
they
Does
don't-
that happen in the comic books?
Yeah, that's Hercules.
You know,
got after
they're going
Thor
to come
before,
down
yeah.
on the regular people now and make them pay for what Thor did, or something.
I didn't
like that.
see. I didn't catch the regular people thing. I
Okay.
must have missed something, but I didn't catch that at all.
I go for he said Hercules after Thor.
Yeah,
That's-
I saw
okay.
Zeus wanting. First of all, I didn't realize Zeus lived, so that was a
Of
shock.
course.
I
Yeah.
think they're going to meet, they're going to fight, and they're going to bond.
And they're going to
Yeah,
love
and fight a bigger
Yes.
thing.
They're gonna choose
they're going to
love.
love.
Hercules,
And
Thor,
Thunder.
love.
They're going to hold hands over the lava.
They're going to hold hands over the lava.
And
They're going to have
And
a
Zeus would be
full
like,
Hercules baby.
No orgy. Menage a trois.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Menage a trois.
oh god,
So much orgies.
That's so
can't-
weird. Yeah.
just go back to him fighting the chicken hawk. That's all. That's the most.
Oh,
part I
God,
like
those
about the
chicken people. Yeah, dude, that was
chicken.
crazy.
That's
chicken.
the.
Oh.
That's the.
It was like they were fighting the Angry Birds.
yeah.
That's crazy.
That's that whole scenario. That's my favorite part of the movie, right there. Like as far as I was concerned, you couldn't beat that part.
And then, what do you know? Like, just like Angry Birds, at the very end,
The whole
The
thing.
whole thing breaks down. That scene was awesome. That was awesome.
I did like the exchange. Like, I don't want to talk about the temple. I don't. You're bringing it up. I don't want to talk about it.
Well, where's the
Good.
temple?
I'm
We
giving
need
you
to-
the goats. I don't want to talk about the
we
temple.
want to move forward.
But I feel like I should, so we can.
We
No, I don't want to talk
communicate.
about the temple.
yeah.
right,
That was funny. Yeah. I think
That's
we've
it.
exhausted
I think we've
all
done
for
everything.
Thor,
We've
Love,
done
and
it all.
Thunder, guys.
Or-
If you've made it this far, obviously you've seen the movie. We'd love to know what your thoughts. What are some
Yes.
things we might have missed? Things that we didn't think about, or things that you agreed with us on, or maybe disagreed with us on. That's fine too. It's welcome on this podcast. Get in touch with us. Share us all your opinions, and we're about to tell you how to do that in just a little bit. Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed that discussion about Thor, Love, and Thunder, and we hope your ears are not Thor from listening to all that. But anyway, look, if you want to learn more about us, sorry, that was a cheap joke. I apologize. Look, go to magicourway.com. That's where you'll find our social media links, past episodes, and more. Also, get in touch with us. Share us your opinions, man. Do it in two ways. Shoot us an email at show@magicourway.com, or you can call or send us a text message. Yes, I did say text us at 1815 Mohican. That is 1815
Asgardian.
669-4226. And of course, we have a couple of guys who do things outside of the podcast. First of all, we got Eli does things with comics.
Hey, Rob Liefeld here. Deadpool, Cable, X-Force, Domino, Marvel Comics, Image Comics,
Mouth
all of it.
Rob.
You guys, what is up? Eli Ivory. What a great name. Eli Ivory, comic guru. I'm here to talk about you. I am here to say, check out ivorycomics.com. That's right, you. Check out ivorycomics.com. ivorycomics.com. If you're not doing that, you're missing out. You're missing out. The Savages comic cannot be beat, cannot be surpassed. You need to check it out, experience it for yourself, and you know the story. It's all about the glory. Congrats to you and all the magic that you're making with your Ivory Comics, Eli Ivory, comic book guru. Check out ivorycomics.com, comic book guru, Eli Ivory, the whole package. Deadpool said to. Do it. ivorycomics.com right now. Liefeld out.
Thank you, Rob. I always love that intro that he gives me. Pretty much like you said, you go to the Ivory Comics website, you can see all those different products that are out there, as well as a link to this podcast so you never miss a beat, an episode, a review, or just some good old fun and hijinks. So go ahead and check out that and get that synergy going. Facebook.com, I'm right there, Eli H. Ivory. As long as you're a real person, nice to meet you. But if you're a bot, ride the lightning on out of here.
Zing! Did Synergy try to friend you?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But 2 goats did. I didn't think that was right. I totally not.
Female goats?
I still annoying.
That's what your ex-wife did have a sister.
That's just right. That's the sound she made when I said, I'm not paying your bills no more.
Living my best life.
What? I'm out of here. Project Geisha has a Facebook page, so please follow that. So facebook.com/Project Geisha. Instagram, I'm right there as EIV504, posting up the hearts and the likes and the comments there. And of course, on Twitter, I can be found at Hancock10166. So if you appreciate the madness, then you're just bringing me the gladness. Thank you very much.
And look, on this day of our recording, Saturday, July 9th, 2022, Avengers Campus opened at Disneyland Paris over there in Europe. Congratulations to them. I saw the opening ceremony, dedication and stuff that they had on the streaming services. But anyway, congrats to them getting their own Avengers Campus. And look, if you want to book a vacation to see that, you can see the Avengers Campus over at Disneyland.
Or go to Paris and see their Spider-Man crash into walls too.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Absolutely.
Hey.
Lee can book all that. Lee, tell them how to do this.
All right, so just give me a call at 832-431-1621. That's 832-FREAKY-WAKIKI. 832-FRKY. WKIKIKIKIKI. You can email me.
Same thing.
You can email me at lee@magicourway.com. Facebook, you can find me at facebook.com/Lostovica Travel. That's LASTOVICA Travel. Instagram, you got a friend in Lee Travel. And on TikTok, you got a friend in Lee. And if you do any of that, what you hooked up and booked up with no.
Love and Thunder Avika.
Yeah.
Nice.
Guys, and look, there's so many ways to support the show as a whole, and you can find them all on our website, magicourway.com. Plus, if you want to elevate your